forest was quiet, too quiet for a normal night. Tall trees blocked the moonlight and the air smelled of wet earth after rain. Soldiers stood in a circle around a strange bunker that looked old but not human-made. The concrete walls were cracked, yet glowing lines ran across them like veins of light. Everyone knew something was inside. Something not from this world, the men whispered among themselves. None wanted to go near the heavy steel door. They had heard the reports an 8-foot alien was trapped in there. It had been caught days ago, but no one dared to face it. The commanders gave orders to keep watch, but fear filled the camp. One man stood apart from the rest. His name was Daniel. He was not the strongest soldier, not the fastest, but he had a heart that refused to let fear rule him. He had seen the alien once, only for a second, when the door had been opened to push food inside. That single glimpse had shaken him. The creature's eyes glowed like embers, and its skin shimmered like metal under firelight. It was not human, yet it looked alive and alone. Now Daniel could not rest. Something inside him told him the alien was not just a beast. There was intelligence in those eyes. There was pain, too. The campfire flickered. The night grew colder. Other soldiers sat close together, rifles in their hands, trying to act brave. But Daniel's thoughts wandered again and again to the bunker. He felt a pull as if the alien was calling him. Finally he rose. "Where are you going?" one soldier asked sharply. Daniel only shook his head. "Just checking the perimeter." But his feet moved toward the bunker door. Step by step his heart pounded louder. His throat went dry. He could almost hear the commander's voice in his head. "Do not engage. Do not approach." Yet his legs carried him forward. The steel door loomed in front of him. Strange scratches marked its surface. Symbols no human could understand. He touched the cold metal. It was humming like it was alive. Inside the darkness, something moved. Daniel froze. His breath caught in his chest. A heavy sound echoed, slow footsteps, each one shaking the ground. His hand gripped the flashlight on his belt, but he did not switch it on. Light might mean danger. Instead, he whispered into the dark, "Can you hear me?" Silence. Then, 2 burning eyes appeared. They were brighter than before, glowing gold and red, fixed on him from the shadows. The creature was there, standing tall, its head almost touching the ceiling. 8 feet of power, muscle, and mystery. Every instinct screamed at Daniel to run. His legs trembled, but he forced himself to stay. His voice cracked. I'm not here to hurt you." The alien tilted its head, watching him closely. It did not move closer, but its eyes narrowed, as if measuring him. Daniel slowly raised his empty hands, showing he carried no weapon. His rifle was back at the camp. He had come here with nothing but courage and fear. The air was thick, heavy with tension. The alien's breathing was loud, deep, almost like thunder. Then it moved. A giant hand, long fingers ending in sharp claws, pressed against the steel wall from inside. The metal creaked under the weight. Daniel's heart nearly stopped. If it wanted, this creature could break him in half. Yet something strange happened. The alien's claws did not strike. Instead, it dragged them slowly across the door, carving symbols, lines that glowed faintly in the dark. Daniel's eyes widened. You're trying to talk?" The alien made a low sound, not words but not a growl either. A sound filled with weight, almost like a question. Daniel's fear twisted into curiosity. He stepped closer, just enough to see better. His hand rested on the cold steel, inches away from the creature's claws. For one brief moment, man and alien were separated only by a thin layer of metal. 2 beings from different worlds staring at each other in silence. Behind him, a soldier shouted, "Daniel, step away from there!" The spell broke. The alien retreated slightly into the shadows, but its glowing eyes stayed locked on him. Daniel turned, but he did not back away. His voice was steady now. "It's not attacking, it's trying to say something." The soldier cursed and raised his gun. "Orders are clear. Keep your distance." But Daniel ignored him. Something deep inside told him this encounter was not an accident. The alien could have killed him already if it wanted. Instead, it stayed. Instead, it tried to communicate. Daniel whispered one last time to the glowing eyes, "I'll come back. I'll listen." For a second, the alien's claws tapped the steel, a slow rhythm like a heartbeat answering his words. Then it vanished back into the shadows. Daniel stepped away, his heart racing. His fellow soldiers shook their heads, muttering that he was insane. Maybe he was. But Daniel knew one thing: this was no monster. This was the beginning of something bigger, something dangerous, something forbidden. The night swallowed the camp again. The soldiers sat uneasy, whispering about what had just happened. Daniel sat apart, his eyes fixed on the bunker. He felt both fear and hope, knowing tomorrow he would return. And somewhere inside, the alien waited. The morning came slowly, painted with a gray sky. Mist hung low over the camp, and the trees looked like silent giants watching from the distance. Soldiers moved about, yawning, rubbing their eyes, and cleaning their weapons. None of them looked toward the bunker. They avoided it, as if even a glance might invite death, but Daniel's eyes stayed fixed on it. He had not slept much. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the glowing ones staring back from the shadows. His heartbeat still carried the rhythm of the claws tapping against the steel. It felt like a message left unfinished. He walked past the campfire where two men were talking. "That thing's dangerous," one muttered. "If it breaks out, we're all dead." Daniel said nothing. He kept walking, his hands empty, no weapons slung over his shoulder. A few men frowned at him. "Where are you going, Daniel?" "Just checking again," he replied quietly. This time no one tried to stop him. They shook their heads, whispering that he was crazy. Maybe he was. But his feet carried him forward step by step until he stood before the bunker once again. The steel door hummed faintly under his touch. He pressed his ear close. Inside, silence. He wondered if the alien even remembered him, or if it had gone back to being a silent monster. Daniel took a deep breath and whispered, "I came back." Like I said, for a moment nothing. Then footsteps, heavy and slow, approached from within. His chest tightened. Then two glowing eyes appeared again, brighter in the dim morning light. Daniel smiled faintly, his fear mixing with relief. You waited." The alien stepped closer. Its tall figure moved into view, details clearer this time. Its skin looked rough like stone, but shimmered with strange colors when the light touched it. Its arms were long, its chest broad, and its claws sharp. Yet the way it stood, still and watchful, did not seem hostile. Daniel crouched down and picked up a stick from the ground. He pressed it against the dirt and drew a circle. Then he pointed to himself. "Human," he said softly. The alien tilted its head, its glowing eyes narrowing with focus. Slowly, it raised one massive claw and dragged it across the steel wall. Sparks lit up, leaving behind a curved symbol. Not a circle, but close. Daniel's eyes widened. You understood?" The alien made a low sound, like a hum, almost thoughtful. Daniel's heart raced with excitement. He quickly drew another symbol in the dirt, a triangle. Then he tapped his chest again. "Human," the alien responded. Its claw carved another strange symbol on the wall, different from his triangle. It pointed to itself, a movement so human-like that Daniel's breath caught. They were exchanging names, shapes that meant me. A laugh slipped from Daniel's lips, not of mockery, but of wonder. "You're trying to talk to me," he whispered. The alien growled softly, not a threat but a sound filled with weight. Its eyes stayed fixed on him. Daniel decided to push further. He picked up a canteen from his belt and unscrewed the lid. He took a sip of water, then carefully placed it on the ground, sliding it toward the door. The alien did not move for a long moment. Then slowly one giant hand emerged from the shadows. Claws long enough to tear him apart brushed the canteen. Instead of crushing it, the alien lifted it carefully. Daniel held his breath as the creature raised the canteen to its mouth. It drank, a deep rumbling sound echoing from its chest. When it was done, it set the canteen back down, unbroken. Daniel grinned. "You're not a beast. You're alive, like me." For a moment, silence filled the air. Only the wind in the trees spoke. Then the alien pressed its claw against the steel once more. It tapped, slow, steady, deliberate. Thump, thump, thump. Daniel froze. His eyes widened. That rhythm, it was a heartbeat the alien was telling him, "I live. I'm here." Emotion surged inside Daniel. Fear, awe, and something deeper he could not name. He pressed his own hand to his chest and tapped back with his fist, mimicking the same rhythm. Thump, thump, thump. For the first time, the alien made a sound that was not a growl. A low vibrating hum filled the bunker, deep and almost soothing. Daniel's skin prickled. It felt like music, heavy and strange, but music nonetheless. Then suddenly, Daniel! A sharp voice cut through the air. He turned quickly. The commander stood behind him, face red with anger, rifle strapped across his chest. Several soldiers gathered, their eyes wide with disbelief at what they had just seen. "What are you doing?" the commander roared. "Step away from that thing!" Daniel raised his hands quickly. "It's not attacking. It's communicating." The commander spat on the ground. "It's tricking you. Next time, it'll tear you apart." The alien's glowing eyes shifted to the soldiers. For the first time, its hum turned sharper, a low growl vibrating through the steel. It sensed the threat. Daniel turned back quickly, raising his hands toward the creature. "No! Not enemy! Don't fight!" The alien froze, its claws scraping the wall. The soldiers aimed their weapons. The air turned heavy with fear, tension sharp like a blade ready to cut. But Daniel stepped forward, standing between the rifles and the bunker. His voice was steady, filled with courage he barely understood himself. "If you fire, you'll start a war you can't win," he said. The commander's jaw tightened. His hand hovered near the trigger. But Daniel's eyes never left the glowing ones inside the bunker. For one heartbeat, man and alien shared silence again. And in that silence, something unspoken passed between them. A fragile thread of trust, stretched thin, but real. The commander growled. "This isn't over, Daniel. One mistake, and that thing dies." He turned away, barking orders. The soldiers lowered their guns, but their eyes burned with suspicion. Daniel stayed behind. His chest rose and fell with heavy breaths. Slowly, he looked back at the alien. Its eyes had softened just slightly, no longer burning with pure fire, but with something closer to curiosity. Daniel whispered, almost too softly for the soldiers to hear. "We understand each other, even without words." The alien tapped the steel once more. Thump. A silent answer. The night came again, heavy and quiet. The campfire burned low, and soldiers whispered in low voices. No one dared to laugh. The memory of the morning still haunted them. Daniel standing in front of the alien, refusing to let them fire. To the soldiers, it was madness. To Daniel, it was the only choice. He sat alone, his canteen in his hands, staring at the bunker. The commander's warning echoed in his mind. One mistake and that thing dies. Daniel clenched his jaw. He knew the risk. But every time he closed his eyes, he remembered the rhythm on the steel wall, the alien's heartbeat answering his own. That was no trick. That was real. When the others slept, Daniel rose quietly. He moved like a shadow, careful not to wake anyone. His boots pressed against the soft ground as he walked back to the bunker once more. The steel wall glowed faintly, in the moonlight, the strange symbols carved into its surface shining like fireflies. He placed his hand on the metal and whispered, "I'm here." The air shifted. Inside, footsteps approached, slow and deliberate. Then the glowing eyes appeared again, watching him. Daniel smiled faintly. "You waited." The alien tilted its head, a gesture so human it made Daniel's chest ache with wonder. Slowly, it pressed its claws against the steel, tapping once. Thump, Daniel tapped back with his fist. "Yes, me, human." The alien tapped twice, a steady rhythm. It was answering. Daniel crouched and picked up a stone. On the dirt, he drew a crude picture of a circle with rays, his attempt at a sun. Then he pointed to the sky above. "Sun." The alien leaned closer, its eyes narrowing. Then its claw carved another strange symbol on the wall, glowing faintly. A word. Its word for the sun. Daniel's lips parted in awe. We can learn from each other." He drew another shape, a stick figure himself. He tapped his chest. "Human. Me." The alien hesitated. Then its claw scratched a tall figure on the wall with long arms and glowing eyes. It tapped its own chest. Daniel's heart raced. He whispered, "You." The alien made a low hum, almost approving. For a moment, silence fell. Then Daniel did something bold. He slid his hand along the cold steel until his palm pressed flat against the door. His skin tingled under the metal's faint vibration. The alien moved closer. Its giant hand pressed against the same spot from the other side. Only inches of steel separated them. Daniel's breath caught. For a second he felt the illusion of touch, man and alien connecting through the barrier. Then the alien made a strange sound. It was not a growl, not music, but something in between. Deep and heavy, rising and falling. Daniel realized it was trying to copy his voice. You're trying to speak, he whispered. The alien repeated the sound, struggling, but shaping it slightly closer. It pointed its claw to him, then made the sound again, low and broken. Daniel's chest tightened. It was trying to say human. Yes, Daniel whispered eagerly. Human. Me. Human. The alien's voice rumbled again, clumsy but clear enough to stir goosebumps on his skin. Huh, man. Daniel's eyes burned with emotion. In that moment, fear melted away. The creature was not just surviving, it was reaching out. It wanted connection. Suddenly, a sharp crack split the air. A flashlight beam cut across the ground. Daniel! A soldier barked. Step away from there. Daniel turned quickly. The commander and 2 guards approached, rifles raised. The alien's glowing eyes flared bright and it growled, claws screeching against the steel. No! Daniel shouted. He held out both arms, standing between them and the bunker. Don't, it's not dangerous, it's learning. The commander's face twisted in fury. Learning? It's mocking you. 1 swipe and you'll be dead. Daniel shook his head. His voice trembled, but his words were firm. You don't understand. It said my word. It spoke. The soldiers exchanged uneasy glances. The alien growled louder, the bunker shaking with its weight. Daniel turned quickly, pressing his hand to the steel. Calm. Safe. No fight. His voice cracked, but his eyes pleaded. For a tense moment, the alien stayed still. Then, slowly, its growl faded. Its glowing eyes softened, lowering slightly. 1 claw tapped the steel once, steady and calm. The commander's jaw clenched. He lowered his rifle, but his glare was sharp as a knife. You're gambling with all our lives, Daniel. Daniel exhaled in relief, his shoulders sagging. He turned back to the glowing eyes and whispered, Thank you. The alien tapped once more, softer this time, as if saying trust. That night Daniel did not sleep. He sat near the bunker, the firelight flickering on his face. His fellow soldiers muttered that he was insane, that he would bring doom to them all. But Daniel's heart told him otherwise. He had touched something no human ever had. He had made contact not with a monster, but with a mind, and in the quiet rhythm of claws on steel, a fragile bond was born. The next morning was colder than usual. A thick fog spread across the camp, swallowing the trees and hiding the sun. Soldiers huddled near the fire, their breaths white in the air. No one laughed. No one sang. The bunker stood like a shadow at the center of everything, heavy and silent. Daniel sat by himself, staring at the steel wall. The memory of the alien's broken word, human, echoed in his ears. It had been clumsy, rough but real. Proof that the creature wanted to communicate. Proof that it was more than what the commander claimed. But no one believed him. You're obsessed, a soldier muttered. That thing is playing with you. Daniel ignored him. He clenched his fists, his mind replaying the moment of connection. It was not a trick. He knew it. The commander marched across the camp, his boots striking hard against the ground. His face was stern, his eyes sharp. Listen up, he barked. That alien is dangerous. Too dangerous to keep alive. We've received new orders. If it shows aggression, we end it immediately. The words struck Daniel like a blade. He shot to his feet. No, you can't. It's intelligent. It's trying to talk. The commander's gaze turned icy. It's a threat. You've been fooled. Anger burned in Daniel's chest. I saw it drink water. I saw it answer my signals. It even tried to speak. How can you not see it? The commander stepped closer, lowering his voice but sharpening it like steel. Because I don't let emotion cloud my judgment. You want to play friend to a monster? Fine. But if it so much as blinks wrong, I'll put a bullet between its eyes. Daniel's jaw tightened. His heart raced, but he said nothing. The commander turned away, shouting orders for the men to prepare weapons. All day the camp was heavy with tension. Soldiers checked their rifles, stacked ammunition, and whispered about the alien. Some feared it would escape. Others feared Daniel's stubbornness would get them all killed. That night, Daniel slipped away again. He couldn't stay away. The bunker pulled at him like a voice calling in the dark. He pressed his hand against the cold steel. "I'm here," he whispered. Inside, the alien stirred. Heavy footsteps echoed, and then the glowing eyes appeared once more. Daniel smiled faintly. "They don't trust you. They want to hurt you. But I know. You're not what they think." The alien tilted its head, watching him. Slowly, its claw pressed against the steel, tapping once. Daniel tapped back. The rhythm felt like comfort now, like a greeting between friends. He crouched down and drew in the dirt again. This time he made a crude picture of a heart, the simple human symbol for life and care. "Friend," he whispered. The alien's eyes glowed brighter. It scratched a strange curve into the wall, glowing faintly. Then it tapped twice, almost eagerly. Daniel's throat tightened. They were building a language, slow, fragile, but real. Suddenly, a harsh light cut across the ground. "A flashlight beam! Daniel!" the commander's voice thundered. "Step away from that thing now!" Daniel spun around, shielding his eyes. The commander stood with 3 soldiers, all rifles raised. The alien growled from inside, a deep rumble that shook the bunker walls. Its claws screeched across the steel, sparks flying. "See?" the commander shouted. "It's hostile." "No," Daniel cried. He pressed his palm against the steel, turning back toward the glowing eyes. "Calm, it's only afraid." The alien's growl lowered, but its eyes stayed fierce, locked on the soldiers. The commander stepped forward, rifle raised. "Stand aside, Daniel. This ends tonight." Daniel's chest tightened with fear. His voice cracked, but he shouted anyway. "If you kill it, you'll destroy the only chance we have to understand them. Don't you see? This isn't just survival, it's history." The soldiers hesitated, uncertain. The commander's finger hovered near the trigger. Inside, the alien tapped the steel, hard, desperate. Thump, thump. The rhythm was faster now, a heartbeat racing with fear. Daniel pressed his own fist to his chest, matching the sound. "I hear you," he whispered. Then louder for the commander to hear. "It's not our enemy!" The alien's growl softened again, as if responding to his voice. The commander snarled. "You're blinded, Daniel. Blinded by a beast that will one day crush you." Daniel turned, his eyes blazing. "Maybe. But maybe it's the only one here brave enough to trust." For a long moment, silence hung in the air. The commander lowered his rifle slowly, but his glare was sharp as knives. "One mistake," he growled, "and both of you die." He turned sharply, ordering the soldiers to withdraw. The beams of their flashlights faded into the fog. Daniel sagged against the steel, his breath heavy. He whispered to the glowing eyes, "They don't understand. But I do. I'll protect you." The alien pressed its massive hand against the steel, claws clicking softly. Then it made that strange hum again, deep and low, like music in the dark. Daniel smiled faintly, despite the fear gripping his chest. "You trust me. That's enough." For the first time since the alien's capture, the bunker felt less like a prison and more like a bridge. But bridges were fragile. And Daniel knew one wrong step could break everything. The camp grew quieter with each passing day, but the tension only grew stronger. The commander's threat hung over Daniel like a storm cloud. Every soldier avoided the bunker, treating it like a curse, but Daniel could not. He felt something pulling him back again and again, something unfinished. That night, when most men were asleep, Daniel slipped away once more. His boots crunched softly on the dirt path. The fog was thin and the stars above looked sharp and cold. The bunker glowed faintly in the moonlight, strange symbols still carved into its steel walls. Daniel placed his palm against the metal. "I'm here," he whispered. Inside, footsteps echoed. The glowing eyes appeared again, steady, expectant. Daniel smiled faintly. "You knew I'd come." The alien tapped once, low and firm. Then it did something new. Its massive claws dragged across the steel quickly, sketching shapes Daniel had never seen before. The lines glowed faintly, curling and twisting into patterns that looked like writing. Daniel's breath caught. You're leaving me a message. The alien growled softly, almost like a hum, then tapped the wall again. Daniel crouched down, pulling out a small notebook from his pocket. He had carried it since the war began, scribbling thoughts and maps. Now he used it to copy the glowing shapes. Each curve and symbol looked alive, filled with meaning he didn't yet understand. The alien pressed its claw to its chest, then to the symbols, then pointed upward, toward the sky. Daniel froze. His mind raced. These aren't random. You're telling me something about the stars. The alien tapped again, harder this time, the sound ringing through the bunker like thunder. Its glowing eyes burned with urgency. Daniel's chest tightened. He whispered, "Are you warning me?" The alien's response was clear. It slammed its claws into the steel, leaving deep marks, then pointed upward again. The sound rumbled with desperation. Daniel copied the symbols quickly, his hand shaking. His heart pounded as the pieces began to fit together. This creature wasn't just stranded. It wasn't just lonely. It was telling him others were coming. He looked up at the sky, the stars cold and endless. A chill ran down his spine. More of you are on their way. The alien tapped once, then twice, then 3 times. Fast, almost panicked. Daniel's blood ran cold. Not just more of its kind, something worse. Danger, he whispered. You're saying danger. The alien pressed its giant hand flat against the steel, claws clicking sharply. Its eyes locked on his, glowing fiercely. Daniel understood the silent cry. Help, warn them, or all will die. His throat went dry. He could barely breathe. Suddenly a harsh voice cut through the night. Daniel! The commander, Daniel turned quickly. The commander and 2 guards marched forward, rifles in hand, flashlights blazing. What are you doing? The commander barked. Daniel snapped his notebook shut and stuffed it in his pocket. It's trying to tell us something. We need to listen. The commander sneered. It's scratching walls and making noise. That's not language. That's instinct. No, Daniel shouted. His voice cracked with urgency. It's a warning. Something else is coming. The commander's eyes narrowed. And you believe that? You think this beast is your friend? Daniel's chest heaved. It's not a beast. It's alive. It's intelligent. And if we don't listen, if we don't prepare, we might all die. The commander raised his rifle slowly, aiming at the steel. Enough, I'm ending this. Inside, the alien roared, the sound shaking the ground. The bunker walls trembled under its power. Soldiers behind the commander tightened their grips on their weapons, fear spreading through their eyes. No. Daniel stepped in front of the rifle, spreading his arms wide. If you kill it, we lose everything. You don't understand. The message isn't for me alone. It's for all of us. The commander's face twisted with rage. Step aside, soldier. Daniel's heart raced. He could feel the alien's glowing eyes locked on him, waiting, desperate. He knew if he stepped aside, the commander would fire, and the fragile bridge of trust would crumble forever. He stood firm. I won't. For a moment, the world seemed frozen. The commander's finger hovered near the trigger. The soldiers shifted uneasily, their eyes darting between Daniel and the bunker. Then the alien did something none expected. Its claws scratched quickly across the steel, carving the same glowing symbol over and over. The light burned brighter with each strike, filling the foggy night with an eerie glow. The soldiers gasped, stepping back. The commander cursed under his breath, lowering his weapon slightly. Daniel glanced at the wall, then back at the alien. His voice trembled, but his words were clear. You're saying it again. Warning, warning. The alien tapped once, hard, final. Daniel turned to the commander. This isn't a monster. This is our only chance to survive what's coming. The commander's jaw tightened. He spat on the ground and turned sharply. Fine. But if you're wrong, Daniel, if this thing betrays us, you'll be the first to die. He stormed away, dragging the soldiers with him. Daniel sagged against the steel, breathing hard. He whispered to the glowing eyes, I believe you. I'll figure out your message, I promise. The alien's hand pressed once more against the steel, claws clicking softly like a faint heartbeat. Daniel copied the symbols again in his notebook, his fingers shaking. The warning was real. He didn't know what was coming, but he knew one thing. This alien wasn't Earth's enemy. It was Earth's only hope. The fog had lifted by morning, but the camp felt darker than ever. Soldiers moved stiffly, cleaning their rifles, sharpening knives, and pretending not to glance at the bunker. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said the alien was calling for its army. Others whispered it was casting curses through its glowing symbols. Daniel sat apart from them, notebook in hand. He had copied every strange symbol the alien scratched into the wall. Now he stared at them, page after page of glowing curves drawn in his messy handwriting. None of it made sense, but his gut told him the answer was buried within. The commander strode past, his eyes sharp. Still drawing fairy tales? He sneered. Daniel clenched his jaw. They're not fairy tales. They're warnings. The commander stopped, leaning close. And if your warnings mean nothing, what then? Will you still defend it when it tears this camp apart? Daniel's chest tightened. He didn't answer. The commander shook his head and walked on, muttering orders to the guards. When the sun sank low and shadows grew long, Daniel returned to the bunker. His heart pounded not with fear this time, but with urgency. He pressed his palm against the steel. I've been studying your symbols. I don't understand yet, but I want to. Inside, footsteps stirred. The alien's glowing eyes appeared, softer now, not burning with rage but with something heavier, worry. Daniel flipped open his notebook and held it up. What does it mean? He pointed to the jagged shape the alien had drawn again and again. The alien pressed its claw against the steel and tapped 3 times. Thump, thump, thump. Then it growled low, pointing upward toward the sky. Daniel's throat went dry. 3 of them? 3 coming? The alien's growl deepened. Its claws scraped across the steel, carving another symbol. This one looked sharper, almost like teeth. Daniel's mind raced. Not just more like you. Predators. The alien's claws slammed the steel once, hard as if to say yes. Daniel staggered back, his heart hammering. The alien wasn't warning about its own kind. It was warning about hunters. Something worse, something powerful enough to terrify even an 8-foot creature. He whispered, "They're coming for you, and maybe for us." The alien pressed its giant hand flat against the steel, claws trembling slightly. Daniel realized it wasn't just warning him, it was pleading. Suddenly a shout rang out behind him. "Step away, Daniel." The commander stood with 2 soldiers, rifles raised. His eyes burned with suspicion. "What lies is it feeding you now?" Daniel spun around, notebook clutched in his hands. "They're not lies. It's warning us about something bigger, something dangerous." The commander barked a bitter laugh. "Of course. And let me guess, you're the chosen one who understands it?" "It's not about me," Daniel shouted. His voice cracked with desperation. "It's about all of us. If we don't prepare, we'll be wiped out." The alien growled inside, the sound vibrating through the steel. Soldiers flinched, their fingers tightening on their triggers. "See?" the commander roared. "Hostile! No!" Daniel spread his arms wide, standing between the rifles and the bunker. "It's afraid. Can't you see that? If something strong enough to terrify this creature is coming, then what chance do we have?" The commander's face twisted in rage. "Enough!" He shoved Daniel aside and stepped closer, rifle raised. The alien's eyes flared bright gold, claws screeching across the steel in panic. Sparks rained down, the sound piercing the night. "Stand down," Daniel shouted, throwing himself in front of the rifle again. "If you fire, you'll doom us all." For a heartbeat, no one moved. The alien's growl shook the ground. The commander's finger hovered near the trigger. Daniel's chest heaved as he stood firm, notebook clutched like a shield. Then, without warning, the alien did something unexpected. Its claw carved one last symbol into the steel, larger, brighter, burning with a strange light. Then it tapped slowly, rhythmically 3 times. Thump, thump, thump. Daniel's eyes widened. He recognized the rhythm. It wasn't random. It was like a signal. The commander cursed and pulled Daniel back by the collar. What did it just do? Daniel's mind raced. He turned to the notebook, comparing symbols, connecting them with the sound. His stomach dropped. "It's not just warning us," he whispered. "It's counting down." The commander froze. "What?" Daniel's voice shook. 3. It's saying 3 days. That's when they'll arrive. The alien's glowing eyes locked on his, fierce and desperate. Daniel knew it was true. The soldiers whispered in fear. The commander's face turned pale, though his anger returned quickly to hide it. Even if it's true, it changes nothing. If danger is coming, we kill this one before its friends arrive. Daniel's voice cracked, but he shouted louder than before. No, don't you get it? This one isn't our enemy, it's our ally. If predators are coming, we need it alive. It's the only one who knows what we're facing. The commander's hand shook on the rifle. For the first time, doubt flickered in his eyes. But his pride held firm. One wrong move, Daniel, and this thing dies. I don't care about your symbols or stories. He stormed away, leaving the soldiers tense and shaken. Daniel turned back to the bunker, chest heaving. He pressed his palm to the steel. 3 days. I'll find a way. I'll make them see. The alien's hand pressed back, claws trembling softly. A low hum filled the air, vibrating like a song of sorrow and hope. Daniel closed his eyes. The truth was clear now. This alien was not the danger. The real danger was coming fast, and Earth had only 3 days to prepare. The next 3 days passed like a drumbeat before war. Every sunrise felt heavier, every night darker. Soldiers grew restless, whispering about Daniel, about the alien, and about the strange scratches glowing brighter on the bunker wall. Some prayed under their breath. Others polished their rifles until their hands bled. Daniel kept to himself, filling page after page in his notebook. The alien gave him new symbols every night, each one sharper, faster, more desperate. The message was clear. Time was almost gone. On the third night, the sky changed. At first, it was only a ripple, like heat rising in the distance. Then the stars shifted and 3 faint lights appeared, moving slowly but surely across the heavens, too steady to be meteors, too unnatural to be anything human. Daniel's stomach dropped. They're here. The alarm spread through camp like wildfire. Soldiers rushed to their stations. The commander barked orders, voice booming with both fear and pride.
Load weapons.
Secure the perimeter. If that thing inside is calling them, we'll kill it first. Daniel's chest tightened. He shoved through the chaos, sprinting toward the bunker. No, you can't. The commander blocked him, rifle in hand. His eyes blazed. Step aside, Daniel. This is war. Daniel shook his head, breath ragged. No, you're wrong. The alien warned us. Those lights, they're not allies. They're predators. If you kill it, we lose our only chance to survive. The commander's face hardened. Enough. I won't gamble with human lives for your fantasy. Inside the bunker, the alien roared, a sound deeper than thunder. The steel shook as its claws carved glowing marks into the wall, brighter than ever. Its eyes burned like fire, locked on Daniel. Daniel pressed his hand against the steel. I hear you. I'll protect you. The commander raised his rifle, finger on the trigger. Step aside, soldier. Daniel turned, planting himself firmly between the gun and the bunker. His voice broke, but it carried through the night. If you fire, you'll have to shoot me first. The soldiers gasped. Some lowered their weapons, torn between fear and loyalty. The commander's jaw clenched so tight it looked like stone. You're a fool. Before he could fire, the sky cracked open. 3 burning streaks tore through the clouds, slamming into the forest beyond the camp. The ground shook with the impact. A terrible silence followed, then came the sound. A shriek high and sharp like metal tearing apart. The commander froze. Soldiers turned pale. The forest glowed red as shapes moved between the trees. Tall, thin, shadows with claws that gleamed under firelight. Daniel's blood ran cold. The predators had arrived. The alien slammed its claws against the steel, roaring louder. It wasn't begging now, it was demanding. Release me, Daniel whispered. He turned to the commander, voice shaking but firm. You want to fight? Then fight with the one who knows how. Let it out. The commander's face twisted in fury. Are you insane? You want to unleash that thing? You don't have a choice, Daniel shouted. Look around you. Those things out there will slaughter us all. This one isn't our enemy, it's our weapon. Our ally. The shrieks grew louder. Trees snapped in the distance. The soldiers clutched their rifles, panic spreading like fire. The commander looked torn for the first time. His pride battled with fear. His hand trembled on the rifle. Daniel stepped closer, his eyes blazing. If you don't trust me, trust survival. We can't win this alone. Another shriek ripped through the night, closer now. Shadows darted between the trees, glowing eyes watching from the dark. Finally, with a snarl, the commander lowered his rifle. If this goes wrong, it's on your head. Daniel wasted no time. He grabbed the heavy chains and levers that sealed the bunker. With every pull, metal screeched and locks clanged open. His arms burned, sweat pouring down his face. The final lock snapped. The steel door groaned, opening slowly. From inside, the alien stepped out. 8 feet tall, eyes burning gold, claws gleaming. Soldiers stumbled back in fear, but Daniel stood firm. The alien turned its gaze upward, toward the glowing red forest, then back at Daniel. For the first time, its deep hum sounded almost like words. Fight. Together. Daniel's heart pounded. He grinned despite the fear. Yes. Together. A shriek tore through the clearing as the first predator burst from the trees. Taller than a man, with limbs too long and jaws too wide, it charged forward. The alien moved faster than any human could. With a roar, it met the predator head-on, claws tearing through the creature in a spray of sparks and blood. The soldiers gasped, stunned. Daniel shouted, "Open fire! Aim at the predators, not the alien!" Gunfire lit the night. Predators screamed as bullets tore through them. The alien fought like a storm, claws slashing, strength shaking the ground. For the first time, humans and aliens stood side by side. The commander fired too, his pride swallowed by survival. The battle raged through the night, fire and steel against shadow and claw. And through it all, Daniel never left the alien's side. By dawn, the forest was silent again. Predator bodies lay scattered among the trees. Smoke rose from burning trunks. The camp was battered, soldiers bloodied, but alive. The alien stood tall, its chest rising and falling, golden eyes glowing in the morning light. Daniel stepped forward, breathless, covered in dirt and ash. He met the alien's gaze and nodded. "We made it." The alien tapped its chest, then tapped his, then spoke in its broken, heavy voice. "Friends." Daniel smiled, his throat tight with emotion. Around them, soldiers watched in stunned silence. For the first time, they saw not a monster, but an ally. The commander lowered his rifle slowly. His eyes were still hard, but he gave a single, stiff nod. "Maybe. You were right." Daniel looked up at the alien, then at the rising sun. He knew this was only the beginning. More dangers might come, more predators from the stars. But now humanity was not alone, because one man had dared to listen and one alien had dared to trust.